Hi, I'm Noor Salahuddin, and this video blog is about the Republican presidential candidates' political positions. I'm going to be talking about Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, Michelle Bachmann, Rick Santorum, Herman Cain, Ron Paul, and Newt Gingrich. On Islam and Muslims, Mitt Romney has said that he wouldn't be comfortable putting a Muslim in his presidential cabinet, but he could imagine that Muslims could serve at lower levels of his administration. Rick Perry has had a good relationship with Muslims in the past in Texas. In 2008, Perry helped expand the Muslim Histories and Culture Project, a teacher training program spearheaded by Texas Ismailis that introduces Islamic history and culture curricula into Texas schools. Michelle Bachmann has said in response to a debate question about French Muslims during a congressional campaign in 2005 that not all cultures are equal, not all values are equal. Rick Santorum has called Sharia law an existential threat to America. Herman Cain has said that he wouldn't be comfortable hiring Muslims in his cabinet because he questions their loyalty. He has apologized for that remark later. This month he also said that an unidentified but prominent member of the Muslim community has said that most Muslims are extremists. He refused to name the source or clarify his position. He has also said most recently that after discovering that his doctor is Arab, he was worried, and later when he found out that he is Christian, not Muslim, he was relieved. Ron Paul has supported the Islamic Cultural Center near Ground Zero and said that Islam is not responsible for terrorism. Newt Gingrich supports the creation of federal legislation that would ban the application of Islamic law in courts in any jurisdiction in the U.S. He also opposes the Park 51 Community Center. On foreign policy, Romney has proposed cutting funding of $500 million annually in aid to Palestine, and for the U.S. to reevaluate its relations with any nation that votes in favor of Palestinians getting state recognition. That makes about 126 nations out of 193 member states, or most of the UN General Assembly. Rick Perry has said that Palestinian leaders believe U.S.-Israeli relations have weakened and the ultimate Palestinian solution remains the destruction of the Jewish state. While visiting Israel in 2009, he also said that I'm a big believer that this country was given to the people of Israel a long time ago by God, and that's ordained. Bachmann calls herself a staunch ally and friend of Israel. She has visited and lived in a kibbutz in 1974. And has told reporters upon her return from a congressional delegation to Pakistan, Iraq, and Kuwait that the dangers posed by Islamic terrorism in Iraq, Britain, and Pakistan justified the continued American military presence in Iraq. She said, "We don't want to see Al-Qaeda get a presence in the U.S. Al-Qaeda doesn't seem to show any signs of letting up. We have to keep that in mind." Rick Santorum has said in an AP report on July 20th, 2006, that Islamic fascism rooted in Iran is behind much of the country's conflict. He's also opposed to military action against Iran, however. He has also defended the treatment of prisoners in Guantanamo Bay and said that effective action against Iran would require America's fighting for a strong Lebanon, a strong Israel, and a strong Iraq. He's against allowing Palestine access to the UN. Herman Cain has said that he is disappointed after President Obama said that the starting point of negotiations for peace between the Israelis and Palestinians should be based on the 1967 borders with mutually agreed upon land swaps. Gingrich has called for a stronger foreign policy along the lines of a Reagan model of toughness and has been critical of the recent administration's policies. Gingrich has singled out Obama's responses to terrorism, North Korea, and Iran as particularly problematic, maintaining that the two nations keep building nuclear weapons while the U.S. does nothing to stop them. Ron Paul advocates withdrawal from the United Nations and NATO for maintaining national sovereignty. He endorses free trade, rejects membership in NAFTA and the World Trade Organization as managed trade. He also calls Israel a close friend and advises the U.S. not to meddle in the country's affairs. Newt Gingrich has said on Israel and Palestine that America does not have a doctrine for total war against an enemy who is hiding behind a civilian population in response to Palestine. In a 2009 speech to the AIPAC, Gingrich called for suspending Iran's right to vote at the United Nations, cutting off supplies of gasoline to Iran in order to force regime change, and creating an alternative to Hamas in the Gaza Strip. On immigration, Romney said that the opponents of the policy of offering in-state college tuition to the children of illegal immigrants have a heart and a brain, in response to Perry's argument that opponents have no heart. He supports E-Verify to check for employers hiring undocumented people. He supports a border fence between America and Mexico. He wants illegal immigrants to register with the government, pay taxes, and apply for citizenship, but he has no plan for how they would do that. He has signed an executive order that would allow state police to make arrests for immigration violations. Perry is against the border fence, opposed to the DREAM Act, but for in-state tuition for undocumented college students. Bachmann is against the DREAM Act and amnesty for illegal immigrants. Santorum is also against amnesty. He supports the construction of a barrier along the U.S.-Mexican border and increasing the number of Border Patrol agents and the stationing of National Guard troops along the border. He believes that undocumented people should be deported immediately when they commit crimes and that they should not receive benefits from the government. However, he has not specified which benefits they receive or that there are no benefits at all. Finally, the former senator believes that English should be established as a national language in the U.S. Herman Cain is not clear on immigration, but is against amnesty. Ron Paul endorses increased border security, opposes birthright citizenship and amnesty for undocumented immigrants, and has voted for a border fence in 2006. Newt Gingrich has held a forum on Latino issues in 2011, where he announced a goal to overhaul the country's immigration system so that every worker in the U.S. is legal within a decade. He's also for tighter border control, has advocated for measures to discourage the hiring and harboring of illegal people, has been generally opposed to the mass deportation of illegal immigrants, but he has also decried complete amnesty and has called some parts of the DREAM Act useful, although he objects to other parts of the bill. He wants to make English the national language of the U.S., and he has also said that immigrants should give up the right to vote in other countries to become U.S. citizens. On health care, Romney has said that he would issue waivers for all 50 states to opt out of health care reform on his first day in office if president. Perry has said there is suspicion among his critics of his handling of Texas public pension funds and unanswered questions about the $1 billion health care fund for Texas teachers, which is predicted to go bankrupt by 2014. Bachmann opposes government-run health care and had introduced a bill to repeal Obama's health care law in 2010. Rick Santorum is against federal health care, which he calls Obamacare. Cain wants to privatize Medicare, and his solution to dealing with health care was for patients to adjust their attitudes. His model for doing this was an anti-littering campaign from the 1960s, which he has been unable to explain. Ron Paul wants to eliminate federal involvement in health care and is against Obama's health care plan. Gingrich has said in his book To Save America, which was published in 2010, that the outline for improving the American healthcare industry would be through an overhaul of the U.S. medical research system that would reduce wastefulness, modernize the FDA, eliminate Medicare fraud and abuse, and implement a system of personalized medicine that would improve care for individuals while reducing the costs associated with treatment. On other social issues, Romney has said that abortion should be illegal except in cases of rape, incest, or threat to the mother's life. He supports the 3 strikes law, is for gun ownership, is against gay marriage, supports Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and is against tax increases. Rick Perry opposes same-sex marriage, doesn't believe in global warming, calls Social Security unconstitutional, is for Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and is against tax increases. Michelle Bachmann is skeptical of global warming, opposes the Wall Street bailout bill, questions Obama's patriotism, supports teaching of creationism in schools, opposes minimum wage increases in Minnesota, and doesn't want America to be part of the global economy. Santorum is against the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell and gay marriage, and is also pro-life. Herman Cain calls Social Security a scam, is pro-life, and opposes abortion, criticizes welfare, opposes federal education schemes like No Child Left Behind. Ron Paul opposes welfare, wants to revise Don't Ask, Don't Tell, opposes the death penalty, and has also pledged never to raise taxes. Newt Gingrich favors rigorous math and science training in public schools and is also for permitting public school prayer. He supports prisoner reform, favors keeping federal and state taxes as low as possible in order to encourage economic growth, and has argued that Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, and other entitlement programs are fiscally unsustainable. Thank you for watching this video blog. We will join you next time with another important social issue.